Hello guys, my name is Laura. I'm 13 years old and I want to be a great manga artist. So in order to do that, the first step is to obviously not die at a young age. Second step is to actually learn how to draw manga. Today I shall be doing Hunter x Hunter. And when I'm making these videos, I like to talk a little bit about the manga. But like, it's my opinion and my opinion was never valid. So it should be okay, right? Should be okay, right? There is a lot of skills to learn from Hunter x Hunter. It could be called as the textbook of manga storyboards, which I'll explain later. I originally wanted to do 2 drawings, this one and another maybe fight scene, but I didn't have much time this week. Back to the painting, so now I'm just doing the sketch, then I can do the line art, which is the manga part. Now I'm just making sure his pose looks good while I suffer in my artist pose. Sometimes when people say, "You're so talented," I appreciate the kindness, but I don't agree with that. It's really just a lot of practice. I make sure I draw at least 3 hours every day, and I make sure to sit like this while I draw. Now you can just watch me draw while I roast myself. Imagine being 13 and having back pain. That's just straight up pathetic. And if I keep this up, I might end up like the creator of Hunter x Hunter. You know, I used to think, how come someone's back can hurt so much they can't draw? But now I low-key can relate. Yoshihiro Togashi is such a lazy but genius artist. His manga was so good. It doesn't have a bad ending. In fact, it doesn't even have an ending at all. At least now I can tell the people I hate that I dislike you till the day Hunter x Hunter ends. He's acting like every effort he puts in is disrespect towards his talent. And to be fair, I don't really blame him for that because he is a truly talented artist, but not in art skills, in storyboarding. Because if you're just gonna talk about art skills, he is definitely not the best because there are so many great manga artists with much detailed painting than his. Being a manga artist or mangaka is different than being an artist. Manga is basically a story that is transformed into a series of continuous drawings. People who are good at drawing may not necessarily draw good mangas. Have you ever read some manga that are very beautiful when read individually, but the story is not attractive? Even after reading the page a few times, you still don't really understand what's going on. If a manga makes you feel tired and difficult when reading, or even makes you stop unconsciously, then there's maybe something wrong with the storyboard. The most important thing about drawing manga is to tell a story smoothly and enjoyable. So drawing skills doesn't matter as much as storyboarding skills. Let's use the original One Punch Man manga for example. I believe some of you can draw better than this, but why is it that you can still read this manga or even feel like it's a good manga? That's actually kind of why I love manga so much. It's such a beautiful way to combine writing and drawing. I want to become a manga artist when I'm 15 or sometime around 15. Like that, when I graduate college, the people same age as me are gonna be jobless and I'm gonna have wealth, fame, and power. And pressure and back pain, maybe no friends, and I already don't have friends and I already have back pain, so it's a win-win to me. Yeah. Okay, now that you heard the most pathetic thing a 13-year-old could have possibly said, let's talk about how Yoshihiro Togashi is genius when it comes to storyboarding. In my opinion, the hardest thing to draw in manga should definitely be fight scenes. Because if you want to draw 2 characters having a conversation, the only thing you need to know is how to draw the 2 characters. But how do you draw a fight scene and make it make sense and make it look good? Now I'm going to compare One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto to Hunter x Hunter. Not because I am a toxic Asian auntie who likes putting people down to make artists look good, but just for better understanding for fight scenes. In Bleach fighting scenes, there are a lot of fast movements. The author is great at drawing speed. He captures the perfect point between motion and stillness. It looks like those movements are actually happening in an instant. But after a few pages of fast movement, it started to feel like they're battling with no logic. It looks like gorgeous scenes of movie posters pieced together. And there's a lot of bright backgrounds in Bleach, and sometimes it will feel a little bit unbalanced when there's nothing there. But for One Piece, every manga panel are usually full of dialogues or backgrounds, which with so much information and so much going on, it actually gets a little bit tiring after reading a lot of pages. Last video I did a manga study from One Piece, but don't get me wrong, I'm not encouraging you to watch that video. It's a horrible video. The Naruto fighting scenes are very interesting. There's usually a large number of broken frames to indicate the intensity of the battle, or the same drawing but from different perspectives. But of course, overall, One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto all have great storyboards and remarkable fighting scenes. Now finally, Hunter x Hunter manga. In every battle, the process is coherent, the background is clean, and the focus is clear. And there are a lot of techniques that Yoshiguro Togoshi uses that I think are really well done and very interesting. The first technique that he used quite commonly is that he will let characters ignore the panels, so they will go over or on top of it. Of course, he is not the only manga artist who uses this technique, but he uses it very smartly. This technique is usually used to emphasize visual effects and key points, and he really knows where to draw our attention. In fighting scenes, it was used to emphasize the character's ability or to show pressure to the scenes, sometimes even to show the speed. And a really clever way he is using this technique is to introduce characters, because it draws our attention to where the new character stands. Let's use this panel for example. Now, as you can see here, there is two characters that is beyond the panel in this scene. The first is of course to emphasize this character, to let us know that this character is important and special. Gon being the main character and Killua being introduced here. Second is to create dimension. So as you can see, Killua is beyond the panel a little more than Gon is, creating the effect of back, middle, and front. Let's go back to the drawing for a bit. This part was kind of the hardest part of the drawing for me. I forget which branch I was drawing sometimes, so it took me some time. Well, I guess you can't really draw grass if you don't touch it, right? Togoshi is actually very good at creating the instant sense of speed. He will draw two of the same panels, but in the other one the characters are gone. Even though it's not as detailed as Bleach, but it looks interesting, smooth, and you can feel the speed. And the placement of words are extremely clever too. In battles, it doesn't affect the movements. And where there is a lot of dialogue, the line of sight guidance is extremely smooth. Backgrounds in Hunter x Hunter manga are very simple but thoughtful. Let's use the page I'm drawing right now as an example. This part might look unnecessary, but take it out and something feels off. It's like in the middle of One Piece and Bleach where there's too much going on and where there's not enough. Now back to the manga, I'm basically done at this point. I'm just adding the shading. Okay, so this is the final result of my drawing in this video. And if you're still watching right now, thank you so much for investing your time on me. I promise you, I will become a great manga artist, assuming that I don't die at a young age.